Alright, what is up, guys? So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to start over from scratch. From my previous videos of Space Engineers, things got a little out of hand, a bunch of stuff was glitching out, and I have a feeling it has to do with me modifying like the inventory capacities to 100 times when the game really only wants to go to about 10 times. So, what I'm gonna do, because a lot of stuff was missed in the previous few episodes, I'm going to start from scratch, 100%. Every single thing, aside from some skips here and there of the boring stuff, mining, I'm going to record everything. All the building, everything. So hopefully things will work out a little bit better. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, get used to the game inventory, but luckily there's mods that are going to help me out later on down the road once I get a little bit more developed. And what I'm going to do is the same, of course, star system, just like pretty much everybody does, and then we're going to do episodes for real, if I can spell. There we go. We're going to do survival. It's going to be offline mode. I'm not going to have any friends helping me out this time now that I got the gist of the game pretty well now. So we're going to do offline mode only for this world and this series. I can do all my online stuff on different worlds later. Autosave, sure. We'll do mods first. So these are all the mods that I've had forever. And I think I'll move them all over, but I'll do, so decorations some more, solar panels. Some of these I don't want, and I think Ultimate Mod Pack, this one, old one, get rid of you. So weapon rack, vanilla wheels, text, blah blah blah, speed of light. Yes. Space just got real. Sure, why not? Smarter suit. Scarce resources. No. Modular thrusters. I'm going to take that out, actually. Reduced signals. We'll take you off. Custom encounters. Reavers. Updated behavior. Grand Weapons Bundle. Nanite control. Warfare. I think there's one other one that I want to take out. Upgraded thrusters. So, no, I'll leave it. I was going to take it out for now because it's kind of a pain. But I'll leave it for now. Homing weaponry. So I think that should be good. We'll see if there's any problems with that later on down the road. But I think that's what I want. And then we'll go to advanced. We're going to do 10 times block inventory size, 10 times. I'm going to max all these out to hopefully be somewhat close to what I was playing with before. What I was playing with before was 100 times for blocks character inventory size. The rest of the stuff I think was normal. Grinding speed, we'll do 5. Hostility. We'll do normal. Why not? Why not? Asteroid amount. We're actually going to do... We'll do a high density. I like having a lot of asteroids. It makes it a little bit harder to fly through space. Arcade sounds fine. Unlimited. View distance. Yep, that's all fine. The day duration, 2 hours. The day cycle. So yeah, 2 hours, I'm going to leave it. Max objects. Normal. Spaceship size, players blocks, total PCU. Because we're in survival, we will leave it at 100,000. Block limits, yep. Max backup saves, we'll do 20. Because I got the storage for it. So auto healing. Sure. Don't need spectator. All that stuff. Wolves, no thank you. Remote block removal. Remotely remove owned blocks to free up their limit. Sure. Enable explosion damage from friendly missile turrets being applied to it. No, I'm good. Enable super gridding. Don't know what that is, so I'm going to leave it off. Subgrid damage. Enable between connected grids. We recommend leaving this setting disabled for more stable behavior. I agree. I will leave that for more stable behavior. Spiders, why not? Because I think they do not spawn on Earth. Unsupported station with enable this option. Grids will no longer turn dynamic when disconnected from static grids. I'm going to leave that off because I don't know what that means. Scripts, yep, we'll leave that on. Permanent death, no thank you. Reset owners of all blocks to nobody, no. So that should be good right there. Okay. So we should be pretty set. We'll go ahead and start this out and see what happens, really. Alright, so we're going to do we're gonna do an Earth-like drop pod because that's the easiest thing to do. And looks like we're spawning kind of in the mountains a little bit. In the hills, hopefully we land upright. I'll actually go ahead and see. Come on. Please lock upright. Thank you. Alright, where are we? Kind of in the middle of the mountains, it looks like. Let me go up here and see if we can get a better view of our surroundings. Unfortunately, we kind of spawned in a valley. But we do have ice somewhat nearby. So, we're kind of in a bad spot. But that's okay. Basically, what I'm going to do then... Well, first I'm going to clear this stuff out because I don't need it. We got our drill. This is so weird. Back to the basics, as I like to call it. So we got a survival kit, O2H2 generator, which will actually grab both of those just because. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now comes the boring part, which is I'm gonna crouch, and we should have auto collecting on, but right now I'm going to dig down and try to get our first mine established. Hit that stone. I don't even think I can climb up this. Almost, but not quite. Okay, so I can climb up that for the most part. So what I'm gonna do now, I should have like a okay, I do have auto collecting on. That's good. Go ahead and just start digging. Collect a bunch of stone. And I'm recording this part strictly for the people who are kind of new to the game. You got the bar down here on the bottom, which just turned red because my inventory is full. And I do have easy inventory on, so I suppose. So with the easy inventory mod, I'll get to that in a second. But if you don't have any mods at all, you know, you obviously you click I or K, I to go to inventory. Here's your inventory on the left. You got your stone and stuff, which you can throw straight into the survival kit, which I'll do for this first time. And then we're at 3,000 out of 10,000, so our survival kit can hold about 3 times our personal inventory. So now I'm just gonna mine a bunch more stone, kind of dig out above here, make it a little bit easier. I'm not crouching anymore because I'm just kind of digging out the walls, and a little bit more. There we go. So now I'm full, so the rocks fell. And see if we can get out. There we go. So with easy inventory, what you would do is you go up to the inventory of whatever you want to access. And if you have a bunch of stone in your inventory, you just hold the Alt key and then right click. Boom. Gone. Your inventory is cleared out. So it goes into here. So now you have 19,000. Now what we're going to do, because we're going to want to build soon, is so ingots. Oh, that's kind of annoying. So it's been a while since I've been this early in stage. So basically you have a bunch of stone here that you can turn into ingots and everything. And with the survival kit, you can pretty much just make ingots. So what I'd like to do is shift left click to make 100. And then it's just going to keep producing a bunch of stuff out of the stone that you bring in. Nickel, silicone, gravel. It's going to make all that stuff from the stone that you bring in. So now our 6,000 out of 10,000 turns into a couple hundred. Very convenient for early stages. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to mine out a bunch of this stuff and get a bunch of ingots built up, and then we'll go from there. So you get the basics. You just mine, basically. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got a fair amount of iron. Not so much nickel, but that's fine. That'll come later on. So basically, with the 2,000 iron that we have here, we can go ahead and go to production. Basic components is what we want. Ignore these two things are from a mod, so ignore those. What we're gonna do is make 100, probably actually a few hundred steel plates, and that's the very basic component that you can use in this game. You're going to use it for making frames, and pretty much every single thing that you build throughout this game is going to require steel plates. So you always want them. So while that's being built, we can actually, once we hit about 100, we should be able to start outlaying our frame for our new base, because our drop pod only has so much power in it. It's running out of battery, which actually, so the survival kit is everything. In the early stages of the game, you rely on the survival kit like crazy. And as you can see on the bottom left, where the little lightning bolt is, that's the battery that you carry in your suit. And you can recharge that here on the side just by holding F. It'll slowly recharge your hydrogen and your O2 and your power. So now we need to figure out, since we have that tank for our hydrogen, we can fly around using X, but it's very limited, especially with the one tank. So what we want to do is probably try to find a kind of a high spot, and don't smash into anything because you'll die. We're not going to go that high, at least not yet, especially since the sun's going down. So we're going to kind of come up a little bit high. We kind of want a bit of a high ground, but a flat ground as well. And I think up here is actually pretty nice. Yeah, it's fairly flat, pretty nice. Okay, so I like this spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my block, and you kind of want to, bring it underground a little bit. You don't want to drop it here. You want to bring it down underground a little bit. So I'll go here, and that's going to make it a static grid. So it's never going to move. You can have this one block and just build crazy high. It's not going to break. It's there. It's static. So what I like to do usually when I'm starting out, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a nice little, a nice little platform to stay on. And then boom. This is the platform for the new base, basically. So once you have your little platform, and you're kind of high up, you know, you have nice open skies, you can put a block on a corner, and everybody does this. And I usually go at least 5 high. At least. But I think I'm going to do about 6. 6 should be good. And then if you hit G, and you got your inventory, obviously yours might not look like mine. Therefore I have to search. So wind turbine is one of the things that you want to build right off the bat. And I can't quite build it, and that's okay. We'll go back to the respawn pod. So you go to the inventory. So if you have easy inventory, this is a lot easier than if you don't. So if you don't, basically you look at this and you need 30 interior plates, 2 computers, 24 grids, blah blah blah, and so on. So you would have to go through and produce all those numbers, when it's, for me, as easy as shift right click, queued production of wind turbine components. So it's producing them for me. It's using those nickel ingots and silicone wafers. It's doing everything. So it's making all the ingredients that I need for the wind turbine. So if you don't have any mods, I recommend at least a couple of mods. And easy inventory is definitely my #1 recommendation from the workshop. It's awesome. It makes things so much easier. So the production is done. So now when I'm holding the wind turbine, I can go up and right click. Boom. Successfully withdrew items for the wind turbine. And hopefully that spot that I found up here, hopefully it's still built. Good, good, good. So we'll go ahead and put this wind turbine, bring out our torch, and weld it up. And now we have our own power. Simple, easy. Got our platform, we have a wind turbine. Now is when things get kind of crazy. The way I like to do this, and you don't necessarily have to do it the same way that I do it. So I'm going to make a small cargo container. Not that small, this small. So here's how I'm going to do this. So you have these thrusters on the dropship, right? And they each have 1 metal grid, which you're not going to make yourself because you need cobalt. But you got 4 thrusters. So go ahead and grind the thrusters down, all 4 of them. And then what else do you need? Some metal grids, small tubes, blah 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 blah. Small cargo, large grid. Partially successful, yada yada. Yeah, I know that it's partial, so we'll let that go. It keeps, so anytime you look at something small grid and you have an object that can be small grid or large grid, it'll revert to whatever grid you're looking at, which is a little bit unfortunate. And speaking of, so if we go to the terminal of the O2H2 generator, you can drop your tank and it'll recharge it as long as you have ice in it. We have a very small amount of ice. So now if we 6, not enough steel tube and storage, that's fine. We pretty much have most of the stuff that we need. Why can't we make small steel tubes? Because our thing doesn't make it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do what I do not want to do, unless I use just these small guys. They don't hold very much. Okay, we're gonna have to do this the way that I do not like to do it. We're gonna make the small cargo container still, except what we're gonna do instead is make an assembler, a basic assembler. Shift right click. So we queued up the basic things that we need for a basic assembler, which we will build on the new base. The thing that I want to do is build a survival kit for it. but I want storage to supply all the items that we're going to grind down from the dropship. Alright, we have all the items that we need for a basic assembler. So we'll go ahead and fly up real quick to our new little zone up here. And we will start with a basic assembler. So we got that. Weld you up. And what is your storage capacity? 20,000 liters. Okay, so we have you. What do we need to finish our small guys? 20 small steel tubes. And for 20 small steel tubes, we need iron, and that's it. Okay. We'll go to the inventory real quick, and we will grab a little bit of iron. 200 or so, grab 50 of that, 100 of that. And we'll go throw that up here, try to get the small steel tubes done, and then we should, for the most part, have what we need to build the small cargo. We go to inventory, you, and you, and then we go to production. We need 20 small steel tubes. Easy peasy. 20 small steel tubes. I think for the most part that was all we needed. I think we have everything else down here. Don't hit trees when you're flying. So we'll go 6, click. But I have the small, so we should be good then, because I have them in my inventory. The small steel tubes. It said not enough small steel tubes, but we have them, so we should be able to put you down here. And now we have a small cargo container that can hold 156 liters. Boom. That's what we wanted. So now, basic assembler and small cargo is done. We can do survival kit. So now this is where things get a little bit interesting. So what I like to do is I have my small survival kit thing ready, because if you don't have a survival kit, you're kind of screwed. And why is the sky green? That's weird. So you have your survival kit here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the inventory and I'm going to try to grab everything that's in it. Okay, so I have everything. And the stone, we'll grab that too. The ice is in the O2H2 generator, but honestly we're going to grab that. So we got all these items, and we have our survival kit here. Things are going to get interesting because it's getting dark. So what we're going to do, now that we grab those extra items, we're going to drop them in here. Now we're going to go back down to our drop pod. So we have our survival kit, and we're going to grind it down. I'm going to take all the stuff from it. Start grinding down all the basic components. As much as you can basically carry, you want to grind down, but you want to start with the armored blocks because they're not quite as important. And actually, so something that you could do, so say you got the O2H2 generator here, if you weld that up, unlock new blocks for doing that. This landing gear right here, they're both actually locked, but you don't need them all. So you could land or grind that down, weld it up, unlock new blocks. Cool. So if you do that, grind some stuff down, weld it back up when it's under the hack level, you'll unlock new blocks without actually building those new blocks, which is actually pretty cool. I'm not too worried about unlocking all the new blocks immediately. That's not a big deal. beacon. Don't care about you. So we'll grind all this stuff down. Okay, suit's low. That's cool. We're done. So hopefully our spot is still alive up here somewhere. Crap, it got dark. There we go. Found it. Okay, so don't do that when it's dark. Just don't. So once you grind down the old survival kit, you can place a new one down. And you should be able to just weld it right up. And now, you weld the new one up. You go ahead and recharge your stuff. Your energy, for the most part, actually. So the survival kit will recharge your health and your energy. Unless you have a hydrogen generator hooked up to it, then it will recharge your hydrogen. But because and we'll actually dump all of our stuff in, we can make an H2O2 generator. The larger one's a little bit bigger, and we'll put it here. Successfully withdrew the stuff that we need for it. So we're going to weld you up, and now we have a hydrogen generator. So we'll take the ice that we have left over, and we will put it in here into the inventory, and then we can put our tank in here and it will recharge. And it took a pretty good chunk. So what we need to do is actually find ice very soon. But we have everything that we need here, and you can see the wind turbine in action. If we go to the control panel, wind turbine, maximum output is 343 kilowatts. It's currently outputting 16. So that's gonna do us good for a while. We actually don't need a battery yet, but in the next episode we will probably get a battery, and we will probably go find ice, and that way we can stock up our small cargo container here, which only has 3,000 out of 156,000. So we're gonna get ice on the next episode, as well as build a battery and expand out our floor for our little base thing here. But we're gonna need a lot more iron just to weld this stuff up. So it only takes one steel plate just to put the frame down, but then you need another 24 steel plates per block. That's a lot. That's definitely a lot. So oh boy, this is the first episode of starting over because I screwed up the settings. But hey, look forward to further episodes, guys. We're gonna make all kinds of cool stuff. We're gonna do everything on video aside from the boring stuff like mining. Stay tuned for more. Hit that like button, it helps me out a lot, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Later, guys.